Hey guys, this is a guide on how to form a religion in CK3 and a religion that's going to be very strong. It's going to provide a lot of money. It's going to limit factions from forming. It's going to be able to, in combination with recognition of talent, we'll talk about that, produce strong hooks. And also, it pays awesome. This is like L. Ron Hubbard religion money. Freaking awesome. So we are playing in Iron Man right now. It's 1265 today, and we started up here in England as William the Conqueror. We are House Normandy, and this religion was formed in roughly, let's go down the lineage here. Our first pope here for this religion was Pope Roger, and he formed this religion in about 1130. So this religion has been going on for about 135-ish years or thereabouts. So as it stands, we have converted most of our territory. There's our territory. And we have converted most of our territory to augurology. It goes really quick, just the way that the religion is set up. So what we're going to cover is what to do before you form a religion. And when you get into that formation, the tenets and the doctrines that you want to pick for that. And then finally, what you do after you form that religion and how you keep the conversion rate moving along and how you use this religion to your benefit. All right, so before you form this religion, there's a couple things that you want to make sure you do first. First off is you want to be able to afford it. And in order to afford it, you're going to need a lot of piety. The cost of these religions can add up very quickly. It's all paid for in piety. So one thing you can do to cut down that cost is go down the learning lifestyle tree, and you can get profit here. And that's going to cut 50% of that cost off right off the bat. So that can be helpful if you don't have a lot of piety and you're struggling to scrape together the piety that you need. Secondly, if you are already, and this one would take a bit longer, but if you're already going down the erudition tree, if you get to true belief, which is a good branch to go down here. If you get to true believers, you can cut another 20% off. So right there, you've got minus 70% cost in piety in forming a new religion. In order to get enough piety to make your religion, you can go on a few pilgrimages. So the farther out you go, like I said before, I'm William the Conqueror. If I go on a pilgrimage to Canterbury, I'm not going to get that much piety. So if I wanted to prepare for this and I knew I was going to form a religion in a few years, I'd probably want to take a pilgrimage to Rome or Jerusalem if I could. So I get all the way out there, I go back, and I'm going to stack up a good hefty amount of piety. The other thing that you want to do before you form this religion is make sure that your realm is stable. If you've got like a billion factions that are formed and they're about to pop and everybody hates you already and there's strife and discontent throughout your realm, and then you throw on top of that forming another religion, you're going to be in a world of hurt, because right after you form a new religion, it's going to take a while before everybody or the bulk of all your people convert. That's going to take some time. So you want to make sure that everything else is in order. And that includes not having natural enemies around you that are knocking at the door to try and take you over. You want to make sure things are stable before you make that religion. With that, if you're like 90 years old, it's probably a bad time to form a religion, because you're going to die, and then your heir, he's going to have to put up with the aftermath of having formed a new religion, which is going to take a few years to sort out as people convert over to your new religion. So make sure that your realm is stable, and then make sure you've got a few years with a strong leader to iron out all the kinks as you go. So before we get into the actual creation of this religion that we're about to make, let's talk about a good synergy, and that is recognition of talent. This is not required for this religious build, but it is awesome. And the two of them together, the religion plus this cultural tradition, they synergize very well. So recognition of talent, I do not see this on many top tier lists of traditions on Reddit and whatnot, but it is just a solid cultural tradition. The big one with recognition of talent is the grant pardon interaction that gives much more positive opinion and a strong hook. Keep that in mind with how we're going to form this religion, because these two go hand in hand. So let's get into the meat of how this religion is going to be created. We're going to go to our religion menu, and we're going to create a new Christian faith. Or if you're a Muslim, you're going to create a new Muslim faith. Or if you're an unreformed faith, you're going to reform that faith. Let's click on this. We were a Catholic before, and we are branching off from Catholicism. We're going to go through each of these items here, both the tenets and the doctrine, and show how all these work together. First off are our tenets. We want communion. Communion is going to be a gold mine. And the reason it is because we're going to prop ourselves up as the head of faith, and that's going to be inherited down to our successor. So we're always going to be the head of faith in this religion, and with communion, characters may seek indulgences. So if they have done something wrong, they have murdered somebody, they have slept around, and they feel bad about it, they're going to pay for absolution. So they're going to seek this indulgence with you. And if you see all these indicators up here, what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of them right now. And this is from about the last month that I let build up. That's about right. I get about 6 to 8 of these, but a month. So this person is going to pay me 100 gold, and for whatever they did, they are going to gain some piety. They're going to feel better about themselves, and, you know, we both win there. Let's see. Normally, Jesus Christ. So this child is paying me 482. I normally get about 100 gold for these indulgences, but this guy must have done something truly goddamn horrific. He's paying me a lot. Regardless, I'll get about 5 to 8 of these a month, and it's anywhere from about 500 to 1,000 gold per month. So more than I make right now, and I'm pulling in 582. I mean, that's nothing to smirk at. That's a lot of money. I make more on indulgences by far a month. When the religion first started, I was probably getting between 200 and 300 gold a month, and that also matched my income back then as well, maybe a little bit more. But now I am making more on indulgences. Lots and lots of money. Second tenet is mendicant preachers. We want as many people as possible to convert to augurology. So in order to do that, we need conversion. We need our conversion rate to go up. With mendicant preachers, our county conversion speed goes up 33. So that's not just when I've got my personal court chaplain out there, which he is right now, converting faith in a county. That's when any augurologian is out there converting. All of my vassals down here, they're all augurologists because I forced them to be. Since they are all augurologists, they also want their realms to be augurologist as well. So they send their own court chaplains out, and that mendicant preacher tenet, it also impacts them. So they're going to be converting at a steadier clip. So mendicant preachers, very good. Pursuit of power is our last tenet. Pursuit of power is the Christian equivalent of warmonger, which the Viking Norse faith, Asatru, has. But pursuit of power, this is going to provide you a casus belli against neighboring rulers. So you're just always going to have a reason and a casus belli to go to war. So if we go down here to, let's say, Tabuk. This guy's just chilling. I don't really have any casus belli on him. He's a different faith, so I'm going to have that one, right? I can declare war. I've got these holy wars that I can declare on him, or I can conquer a county. Once in a lifetime, you can use an invasion casus belli. So kingdom or above. Let's go to, there's not a lot of kingdoms left, but let's go to Curate here. We right-click on this guy, declare war. We've got an invade kingdom casus belli here, and my character apparently has not used this yet, but if you read down here, you may only attempt one invasion war against a kingdom tier title per lifetime. What we can do here, and he's got territory in 3 kingdoms. What we could do, we want to just wipe this guy out. Our target is going to be the Curate Connaught. That is most of his territory. What we can do at that point is we can go siege down all of this territory before we even step foot in here. So if I win this war, no matter what, I am taking this kingdom. If I have sieged down and I occupy all of this territory by the time the war ends, I take all that as well. When I first picked this, the Holy Roman Empire was still very strong. So this was really helpful because I could declare war. I could pick like Germany as the target. So I get Germany if I win the war. But then I would go and I would siege down like a lot of Bavaria first. Then I would go into Germany. By the time the war ticks down and the Holy Roman Emperor surrenders, I get everything that I've occupied plus the target kingdom, which was Germany in this example. Even if you're out of empires and kingdoms, the casus belli, the free casus belli there, where you can just expand, because you've got the conquered county and the conquered duchy. And you can use prestige for that. If you are just declaring mad holy wars on everybody, every time that you declare a holy war, Augurology's fervor decreases. So for this duchy, it decreases by 2. For a kingdom, it decreases more. I generally do not use holy wars for that reason. Down into doctrines, view on gender, I want equal. Why do I want equal? Because it gives me more options. I can land females. I can have a female heir if I so desired. It just doubles your pool of talent that you can use for various things. So I'm going equal on that. Religious attitude, righteous. This is the happy medium for me. If people are fundamentalists, you're going to get a conversion speed that goes up, right? So this 20% is going to stack with the plus 33 that you get over here from Minicamp preachers. So things will convert faster. However, you're going to have more counties of other faiths more likely to join factions. So if we look at our factions over here, the primary factions that we have to do with religions. We've got the Ethiopian Coptic populists, the Catholic populists, the Orthodox populists, the Ashari populists. So these guys are all pissed off because they're of a different religion. If on our doctrine here we had fundamentalists, yeah, you can just multiply that by a lot because our fundamentalism is going to piss everybody off. So I think that this is the healthy balance here. Righteous. Pluralist, you're actually going to take a hit. Your conversion speed isn't going to happen as quickly. But here I think righteous is the correct move. You've got a happy medium there between factions forming and your religion spreading. Clerical tradition, we want to go with the lay clergy. When we're picking, when you're a Catholic in this game, well, and in real life, I guess, you've got a paid clergy, right? So they're just going to put somebody in this spot. You can't pick them. And a lot of times they're utter bullshit. You know, they've got like 5 learning. Like, now you got to murder them. You've got things to do. Yeah, so in lay clergy, I can pick who this guy is. And this guy is super whip smart. I selected him. And if he's got a high intelligence, he's going to do all these tasks a lot faster. So fabricating claims, converting faith in a county, etc. I want a lay clergy. Head of faith, temporal. I want a temporal because this is going to be me. And as you can see here, the position of head of faith is given to the founder of the faith and is passed on to their primary heir. So my guy back in the day, lineage, let's go back to Pope Roger. Pope Roger set all this up. He was the architect. He knew that this is going to be helpful for the dynasty. And he became the head of faith. And now it passes down heir to heir to heir to heir. So these guys were all popes. I'm a pope. And that's also why we are taking all these indulgences, all these tithes. Head of faith, temporal, and now pilgrimage. This one isn't, I wouldn't stress this one too much, but I think that the encouraged is the best option. You don't want to forbid this because you want to go on pilgrimages and you want other people to. Mandatory, I just don't. If you guys know a benefit to keep making this mandatory, keep in mind this section that I'm going to cover, the crime doctrines. But I don't think that there is a real benefit to having this mandatory. Encouraged seemed to be the right answer. I might be missing something though. If you know something, leave something in the comments. I would like to, I'd like some other perspectives on that. But encouraged, I think, is the way to go with this one. Marriage types. I want polygamous. Why do I want polygamous? Because I'm a deviant, I guess, just living out my fantasies. Who knows? I want polygamous because I want my dynasty to be giant. I want as many dynasty members as I can get. So right now in 1265, after about 100 years of game time, we've got 2,765 living dynasty members. That's a lot. And we want as many of those as possible. Right now, we are in, and I know what people are going to think about this. They're going to say, well, what about succession? Like, it's going to be a shit show. Your empire or kingdom's going to get all split up. It's going to be all fuckered up. We're in primogeniture right now. But honestly, that doesn't matter. Well, before primogeniture, we had these doctrines. And my guys back in the day, like, I never didn't have kids, or I never disinherited my kids or killed them or sent them away. You know, I've just been banging out kids left and right. You can see 8 there. That's on the low end there. King William, you should have done better. 10 kids, 13 kids, 17 kids. This guy died really early. He died in a jousting accident. That's what you get for having the brave trait. But this is when I got primogeniture. There are ways around succession issues that you might have. They're not that hard. Like this guy, I want this guy to have, he's 45, he's got 16 kids. That's not enough kids. Those are rookie numbers. He's got to pump those numbers up. Second, divorce must be approved because I want to make sure that you're not divorcing somebody that I intentionally set you up with. I don't want it to be disallowed either though. If my heirs are betrothed to somebody that turns out to be a shitbag, I want to go in there. I want to be able to go in there and demand a divorce if they get married, so I can marry my kids off to somebody else. And as head of faith, I can go in there if they're my direct descendants, and if they're in my court, I can demand a divorce, boom, and marry them to somebody else. I can also use that for alliances, you know, if I need a quick alliance because something's gone haywire. Well, sorry, buddy, son of mine, you're not going to marry that woman that you love. I need you to, I need you to marry somebody from Akatao. Bastardry legitimization. This is the best option here. You could do no bastards, meaning everybody that is born out of wedlock is a member of your dynasty. I don't want that because I don't know if they're worth it, right? But earlier on, when my dynasty was smaller, I wanted to have a say of who was legitimized and who wasn't. Especially with my own kids, right? If I have an affair and my first child is, would be a bastard, but there's technically no bastards in this religion, then that's automatically going to become my heir. You know, no, I don't want that. I want that first child that I make to have the traits that I want. Now, this guy turned out to be a total letdown, but, you know, these are good, right? And I had to plan for that. I'm not just out chasing tail with somebody in my court and the bastard child ends up my heir. That is no good to me. To legitimize, it only takes 75 renown. And if you've got a very large dynasty and you're putting everybody in power, you rack up renown really quick. No legitimization means if a bastard was conceived, then you can't make them a part of your dynasty. I've actually found this handy a lot to legitimize a bastard if I need somebody to land and I'm looking for a quick fill-in from a member of my dynasty. Well, a few times I have legitimized somebody and then put them into the position. All right, types of marriage. So we've got a couple options here, avunculate or unrestricted. In an empire this size, unrestricted is an incest nightmare. For my guy here, I might get away with not having the incestuous trait or being able to work around that by having multiple wives, and then just one of them is my sister or my mom. Yeah, and I might get the pure-blooded trait, and a lot of you guys go for that. But in an empire this size, man, everybody's going to be out there banging close family members, and all their kids are going to have the incestuous trait. They're going to be all kinds of messed up. So that's no good. Cousin is about close enough. So for me, unless I've got a really good reason for it, this is what I'm going to pick. But I don't want to restrict it farther than that either. Like avunculate, marriage between cousins, aunts, nephews, and uncles, nieces is allowed. So that's about close enough, I think. Now, here's the important part. So this is where the crime doctrines, right? This is where this religion really starts to take off in combination with recognition of talent because of this grant pardon deal here where you get a strong lifetime hook on somebody. So we go back to our crimes. And, you know, when I was first thinking about this, and this is why I wouldn't be a good cult leader or, you know, a good L. Ron Hubbard, is because I look at this and I'm like, well, you know, I feel like a little deviancy here and there and same sex, that's okay. No, fuck that. You want everything to be a crime because you want to be able to lord it over somebody. And if you don't think like this, you should never make a religion. Okay, we want people to feel bad. We want them to be beholden to you. They want the crushing weight of this religious doctrine to weigh over them. And that's how you want to think about this. So for our crimes, if I could go back, I would make every single one of these a crime. And the reason why is people are going to, you know, do these. There's going to be a same-sex relationship or there's going to be some deviancy. I mean, let's be real here. Like I do all these when they suit me. So let's say I'm a murderer, I'm an adulterer. Like, I'm surprised I'm not more things because I'm the head of faith. I will do whatever I'll do whatever I want. I don't. This is for the peasants. If somebody does one of these things, then I'm going to be able to grant them a pardon. Those pardons will pop up here in your current situation indicator. And then you can go to that person. And let's just say it's, now let's pick a vassal here. Yeah, you. Let's say Queen Isabel of Amez. She has committed adultery. She's going to have a little ball and chain right next to her person right there. You can right click her. You can go down to personal, show more, and then there's going to be a grant pardon option there. After you grant a pardon with recognition of talent, her opinion of you is going to improve by 50, and you're going to have a lifetime strong hook on her. Just wipes out like factions. It wipes out what your vassals can do against you, wipes out their options to murder you. Like, you can get everybody in line. So right now I've got 108 strong hooks. Those are lifetime strong hooks. They last forever, so I can use one. And then there's a little bit of refresh window. I think it takes like 5 years, but then I can use it again and again and again. So we want as many of these hooks as possible, because whoever has a strong hook on them, they cannot join factions. Upon succession, none of these hooks are going to be inherited. You got to go get your own hooks. So upon succession, you'll almost certainly have an independence faction form with some vassals that pop in there. You just pick the one that's the strongest. So let's say it's King Simon the Trembling. What I'm going to do is find his capital, and I'm going to plot my old spy master down here to find secrets right on his capital. If I find anything on him, I can grant him a pardon, and that pulls him out of the option to be in that faction against me. So with recognition of talent and all these things being criminal, you're just going to be rolling in strong hooks. Yeah, that is how those recognition of talent works with this. So you want a super strict religion. You want all these things to be criminal. Now, I didn't make kinslaying criminal. I don't know what I was thinking. This was a week ago that I made this religion, you know, in real time. I have no idea why I thought, like, yeah, we should make deviancy criminal, but you can go ahead and kill your mom. I don't know what I was thinking here. If I could do this again, I would make this criminal. I think maybe what I was thinking was, if my guy kills somebody else, like, what's going to happen? Is everyone going to hate him? And, you know, I have found that if you do everything right and you've got strong hooks on a lot of people, you can be these things. You can be these bad indicators here, and it's not going to matter. And then finally with witchcraft, if I could do this one again, I would make this criminal as well. As many of you have done, I was chasing the elusive found witch coven. This is such bullshit. I've never got this decision before, because it just keeps like tiptoeing away from me. I'm almost there, and then like 5 people will be born or come into adulthood, and you know, it's gone. But if you get 60% of adult members of your house as witches, you get this cool witch coven thing here, and I thought that would be dope. So I'm like, let's all be witches. We're gonna make it virtuous. Everybody's gonna be a witch. This is great, guys. Well, 60% of adult members of your house have to be witches, and you have to know about it. And when I first formed this religion, it was still within my grasp. Would have been tough, but it was within my grasp. But now, if we go to all, let's sort by adult, and then let's go to Normandy, and let's go to House Normandy. I mean, maybe I could. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not going to. It's too much time and effort to sort through each one of these people and figure out if they're a witch or not, or convert them. So I will never get the Found Witch Coven. This might be a lot easier in a smaller playthrough. If you're doing like a tall playthrough on one of these islands here with a high intrigue, you know, also a witch coven, I might try that one. It kind of sounds like a fun role play. But when you're playing wide like this and you've just got 5 million dynasty members, like, forget it. It's not a thing. It's not gonna happen. So if I could go back, I would make witchcraft a crime, because if you look at the menu that I had just pulled up here, 30% of all these adults have the witch trait. That means I could get 30% of these guys, I could get strong hooks on. So everything criminal. That's what you want to do. Very, very strict religion. Very, very merciful, quote unquote, head of faith. Moving on, clerical function. Control is the way to go here, but I think there could be an argument made for the popular opinion bump here. At the time, I was still kind of strapped for cash. So the domain tax is minus 5%. I didn't like that. I was still nitpicking on where I was getting money from and trying to aggregate wealth. And I was living paycheck to paycheck when this religion was formed. I think that probably weighed on my mind. If I could go back and do this again, I would pick the popular opinion bump for a plus 10. But this one isn't bad. The 20% control growth, it's very helpful. Recruitment, this would be kind of fun if you were role-playing, like more of a religious warrior dynasty, because your clergy can serve as commanders and knights, and all augur clergy will get a +4 prowess bump. So as head of faith, you know, your person gets a +4. You just have like a bunch of religious warriors out there. Could be pretty dope, but sort of more role-play. Down on clerical gender, I just want to pick people from either gender here. The last court chaplain I had was a woman. She had 55 intelligence. I just want to pick the the best person for the job. I don't want gender to weigh in on it. There's no reason not to. So either for that. Clerical marriage allowed. There's really no reason not to allow them. I don't know why you would. If there are any reasons that I'm missing, please leave a comment. Let me know. Clerical appointment. We want this to be temporal and revocable. So I want to be able to put him in, and I want to be able to take him out if he's, messing something up. If he becomes, if he gets some kind of trait where he becomes incompetent, and his learning drops drastically, I want to be able to replace him. So that is the faith itself. That's what we're going to do. Then we're going to click the create faith, and now your faith has been created. Many of your vassals, if we look right now, let's see how many vassals would. Right now, 122 of 122 vassals will convert. So that means that this list of all my vassals, these guys are all going to convert themselves, but their counties, it's still, their counties might not. So like if we look at this section here, these guys are still converting over from Catholicism and these guys from the Greek Orthodox. If we go here, this guy is almost certainly an Auguralgian, but his county faith isn't. So he is working on that. But keep that in mind when you click the create. Your vassals will convert. Not all the counties will, so it's going to take some time. And we'll talk about what you do after you form your religion. So after you've formed your religion, you want to make sure that everybody converts. In order to convert your entire realm, you're not going to rely upon your one court chaplain going through each county and converting that county. That is not feasible. That's going to take too long. You want all of your vassals to be converting. So what we're going to do is after we conquer an area, we are going to pull up our character finder. And let's say the area was, let's go with Ashari. So Ashariism here. You can pull up your character finder, click on vassals, and then type in the religion of the area that you just conquered. And you're going to come up with a list of people that are of that religion. So I'm normally worried about counting below. This guy's my prisoner. Don't worry about him. But I'm not even that worried about the mayors and the barons. The reason being, they can't convert the same way that counts and above do. So if you're a count, you're going to have a court. And in that court, you're going to have your court chaplain. And you're going to have that court chaplain convert your county if the county is of a different faith than you are. But just for the purpose of example here, let's demand conversion of a few people. After I conquer an area, I pull up this list. Everybody that's count or above, so that's count, duke, king, we're going to go through and we're just going to demand conversions. And these guys are going to accept. If they don't accept, and if I've just conquered an area where everybody hates me, I will start sending a bunch of gifts. Like that's the first thing that I do right after I conquer an area. I conquer them, then I'm making my friends. And with all the money that you're making from communion, you're going to have plenty of money to do that. So after you send these gifts, you demand conversion. This chance is going to go up. If it was lower than 100% before, this is going to go up. So we demand conversion, send a gift, and demand conversion. And then you'll see these guys, they all think, wow, what a great idea. Yeah, thanks for the money, and I think I'm going to be a part of your religion. Yeah. As you go, with this religion in place, you're going to be doing a lot of granting pardons. So let's see if we've got any pardons now. Yeah, I've got one person that needs a pardon. It's not a vassal, it's a courtier, but same principle. She's done something wrong. I suspect it was probably fornicating. She's out banging randos. Not again, Sibylla. Jesus. So we're going to go down here, right-click on her. You can see with the little ball and chain here, that means that she's a known criminal. Well, I can grant her a pardon, and because I've got recognition of talent, we'll see what happens here. We get a strong hook on her, and we gain 50 opinion. This is no different if it was one of your vassals. So let's say a powerful vassal commits some crime, you can grant them a pardon. They think better of you, but they also will owe you for the rest of their lives. And that is how you maintain your vassals with this type of religion and keep spreading the word. One conquered territory at a time. Every territory you conquer, just go in there and demand conversion of all the new vassals that you've made. They will start converting the county themselves. If they're zealous and they don't convert, then they will be a known criminal. And at that point, you just right-click, grant pardon, like this dude over here. And he hasn't converted, but I do have a strong hook on him, so now I just wait for 1272 and I can demand conversion again. And since I have a strong hook on him, that's going to be easy. With vassalizing people, the way that you want to approach that, let's see if we can vassalize this guy. I don't think so. I think he's been playing hard to get for a while. But if we give a religious exemption, he's still outside of the acceptable range here. If we give a religious exemption and he accepts, then I'm going to go, yep, offer vassalage. And then right after that, you can go And let's see. Let's go ahead and let's modify this vassal contract. So right after you vassalize somebody, modify their vassal contract. Put them down to low feudal levies, and if you do that, you can take away their religious protections, which will be an option down here if you have granted them religious protections. After you have done this and you've modified the vassal contract, and if it's a give and take, like if I just changed his religious protections, it would be an act of tyranny. So if I bump this down to feudal, or the feudal levies down to low, and then I take away the religious protections, it will be an even trade, and he's going to accept that, and there's going to be no tyranny cost. And since I don't use levies, because they are for scrubs, it's going to be no skin off my back. At that point, he will accept vassalization, and then you can go right-click on him, demand conversion, and you're all set. So vassalizing with the religious protections in place, that is really no problem. Vassalize away and then just modify their contract. So as we have covered, this is a super strong religion. Does really good for world conquest. You're going to make a boatload of money, and you're going to have strong hooks on everybody. It's going to be really easy to manipulate. You're using this religion as a socio-political tool, not so much as a true believer. And that is that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave any comments on anything that I messed up, or any points that you think are worth consideration. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.